And welcome back to show 633 on your driving to work on this Wednesday morning. So while we're talking about education here, we touched on the fact yesterday that, we've talked about this a couple of times, that currently the U.S. now ranks, somewhere around 20th in the world for our educational system, right? And our education, especially when it comes to STEM type studies, we don't even rank in the top 10 anymore, which is pretty dramatic considering we used to be in the top 2.
What blows me away is we were the country that put a man on the moon.
Yeah. Well,
and we did it with slide rules.
Exactly.
Now you look, you got enough stuff in your phone today that's exponentially bigger, stronger than the computers they had to do that back in the 60s.
We put a man on the moon.
What have we done with it?
Right. We put a man on the moon with the power of a calculator.
Exactly.
Which is incredible. Well, and again, we're not doing anything to improve that either. And we've talked about this. We've gone to these STAR tests, so now we just teach tests. We don't actually teach our kids. We've talked about the importance of critical thinking recently. Well, if you can't improve the education, right? Because we need to have more kids making A's, right? If you take a look at Boston as an example, they have more kids that fail out of school than just about any other state in the country. So apparently, if we can't, our kids just aren't able, apparently we're not able to teach our kids to be smarter. So if you can't teach the kids to be smarter to make an A, right? Let's change the dynamics for making an A. Right? So this makes complete sense. So in other words, rather than having to have 90 or above to be an A, let's just change that. How about 85? Let's just make 85 and up an A. We'll just lower the bar so that people can get over it. This is the same thing we do on Wall Street with earnings estimates. We just keep lowering the earnings estimates until eventually the company can beat the estimates, and we go, oh, look, they beat estimates. Isn't it great? And we run up stock price.
It's the same thing you do with loans.
Yeah. Exactly.
People who can't qualify for a loan, we'll just lower the standards.
Exactly.
If you can fog a glass, we'll give you a loan.
And then see what happens.
Yeah.
Right.
Shocker.
North Carolina lawmakers are considering a bill that would change school grades. A new bill under consideration would adjust the current grading scale, making a score of 85 an A. Want to make a B? All you need is 70 to make a B. C is 55 to 69%. A D is 40 to 54%, and anything below 40 is failing. Now, look, there are tests. I was actually reading an article yesterday, and this teacher, she's writing about how she does her test, and she provides a 10-point bonus on her test if you read the directions, because on the directions, and of course, and she's trying to teach kids the importance of reading directions, and actually, she just won $10,000 from an insurance company, because in the fine print of their insurance contract, it says that if you actually read the fine print of this and respond to this, you'll win $10,000, and she won. Because nobody, and what the insurance company was trying to prove is that nobody reads the fine print, and she does. And she was saying that on her test, in the directions for the test, she buries within the instructions, because kids don't read it, a 10-point bonus if they do something special on a test, like circle a number or write their name on it or something. 10 extra points. So the point of all this is that in a lot of cases, there are people that if you just sign your name on the test, you make a 40. Exactly what are we educating our children? If 40 it becomes anything above a 40, in other words, you're getting 4 out of 10 questions right on a test. 4 out of 10. What are we teaching our kids? What type of future are our kids going to have in a competitive world? And again, we're trying to deal with trade wars with China because we're worried about them stealing our IP technologies. Have you ever wondered why when we talk about hackers, we talk about Russian hackers, we talk about Chinese hackers, we talk about Iranian hackers, we talk about hackers from all these other countries that are infiltrating our system? When was the last time you heard that there's a huge story out today of American hackers going after something? It doesn't happen. Now, What, are we just that, or just as a nation, are we just that good and we just don't think about hacking other people? No! These people are educated. They go to school year round. They study. Their school days aren't packed with classes on, social justice. They're in math. They're in science. They're learning the critical skills of the world. And this is why, you need to wake up and smell the coffee here, because, if we continue down this path of trying to coddle our youth instead of educating them, there's only one outcome from this. And can you imagine hiring somebody? And then I equate this to my children all the time. Look, you're about to go to college and you're going to get out and you're going to get a job. And my kids come home and we review their grades, we review their studies, and a B is not acceptable in our household. Everybody goes, "Oh, well, that's a B. It's average." Your kids can't be average in the world. Can you imagine going out into your job and doing an average job, and then when it comes time for your review, your boss says, "Well, John, you were remarkably average this year. I'm going to give you a raise." No. We don't prepare our kids to go out in the world to be average. If you want your children to succeed, they have to be above average. And where do they learn that? Where do they learn to be above average? They have to learn to be that in school. So B's are not acceptable in our household. They have to make A's. They are rewarded for making A's. They're not rewarded for making B's, C's, or D's. And as a consequence, they're going to have a better foothold in life. Changing the grading environment to where you say, well, look, if you just make 4 out of 10, can you imagine going to your job and your boss says, well, since you got 4 out of the 10 tasks that I gave you last year completed successfully, you can keep your job. No. Ain't gonna work. But this is what we're doing. This is the issues that we are trying to do in America, because again, this goes back to this whole idea, fair and level playing field. Everybody should be able to go to school, not necessarily even learn the language, because we'll just teach it to you in whatever language you're coming over here with. And, oh, I'm sorry, you're not doing the homework. You're not doing the work required to get the grade. Well, that's okay. We'll just make it easier for you to pass. Why even have school? And then people are paying $1.2 million to smuggle their kids into Yale. You can't make this stuff up. You just simply can't. Anyway, all right.
It's socially embarrassing.
It is.
And
this is why we talk about it. It's just embarrassing. But again, it's our job. Look, here's the bottom line. It's not the school's job. Yes, we pay school taxes. I've given up on schools a long time ago. It's my job as a parent. It's my job to educate our children in our household. I'm not educating your children. That's your job. But I mean, it's literally gotten to that point. If we don't take responsibility for our own children, and we don't educate them and grow them and nurture them in the way that they need to be nurtured for succeeding in the real world, they're not going to succeed. And we can't rely upon our school systems to do that for us, because that was lost beginning back in 1980 when the government took over our educational system.
Get daily investment news you can use, delivered at the speed of the internet. Sign up for Lance's newsletter now at lancerobertshow.com.